It's wonderful to be able to join you here tonight and to look out in the room and see so many familiar faces who've been part of the journey over the last few years as we have sought to make sure that the tech sector is front and centre of the Scottish Government's economic strategy. Scotland has a very rich cultural heritage that informs the narrative that we tell about ourselves at home and abroad. But putting to one side Nessie and the Kelpies and the Selkies, there is one particular creature that I want to focus on this evening that I hope inspires you in realising your ambitions. And it is, of course, our very own national animal, the unicorn. Because the unicorn is said to symbolise success and power, and it's a fitting title to give businesses that reach that $1 billion valuation milestone. But the one thing that we are absolutely not short of in Scotland is talent and creativity. And there are so many people in Scotland, from the borders to Shetland, that have what it takes to achieve that milestone. And whilst, as the First Minister said, it is not the only metric by which we should measure success, it is an important indicator that I think reflects the level of ambition that we should have for the tech sector, for the Scottish economy, and for our nation. I've had the privilege of having responsibility for tech since the beginning of my ministerial career. And I remember the day more than 2 years ago where I pulled into the lay-by at the side of the A9 on a scorching summer day to have my first conversation with Mark. I don't know if you knew I was sitting in a lay-by at the side of the A9 to have that conversation. And in that conversation, I asked him to author the Scottish Tech Ecosystem Review, or STARE, as it is now known. And 2 years on, for me, it is a mark of great success that we have reached this critical milestone in delivering what is perhaps the most critical part of the infrastructure to deliver those recommendations in Mark's report. And so we take a big step tonight on that journey, a journey that many of you have been part of for longer than I've been part of it. But we take that critical step in Scotland's journey to becoming a true world-class startup nation that is not ashamed of the scale of our ambition and that is determined to realise it. Tech Scalers, delivered by CodeBase in partnership with world-leading organisations such as Reforge and Google for Startups, will enable our tech ecosystem to grow rapidly through world-class commercial education, through mentoring, and through vibrant peer community. Our startups will be exposed to the most relevant playbooks so that they can learn, iterate, and do more faster. There is currently no equivalent to this programme anywhere else in Europe. Our startups and our founders will be supported at every stage as they grow, perhaps from being individuals simply thinking of creating a startup to the point at which they achieve competitive advantage and scale. And so by the end of this year, there will be offline and online infrastructure for communities of entrepreneurs described in STARE as the marketplace. That marketplace will enable people to come together, to learn, to enjoy meetups and events, and ultimately to thrive together. And crucially, all of this will happen as part of a network that also addresses, and this is something I'm particularly excited about, that addresses the barriers, some of them long-standing, the barriers to entry and access that we know exists in the sector. But we see already what happens when those barriers come down. And Mark and I had the privilege of visiting an organisation that many of you will know about, Code Your Future, last October, an immensely moving visit, because we heard directly from the experience, and I see some nodding faces from people who were there. So we heard from people who had been excluded from the job market, refugees, former asylum seekers, who were training to become web developers. It had transformed their lives. But what was equally exciting is that it was transforming the sector. It was transforming Scotland, because in giving the tools, the training, the skills to those individuals with an appetite to learn, we also saw the transformation in businesses who were able to recruit and retain talent that they were looking for. It meant that those organisations could access an even greater pool of talent. And that, for me, truly reinforces the principle at the heart of STAIR, which is that the tech sector must be accessible to everyone, not just for their benefit and their sake, but because it is so critical to our agenda and our ambition for Scotland to deliver that sustainable economic growth. And so the tech scalers, sitting alongside other initiatives like the Anna Stewart Review, will build a generation of startups that actively support people from all backgrounds, all genders and all ethnicities. We want to see a diversity of ideas and experience. We want to see Scotland develop an ecosystem that's enriched by knowledge exchange between local and international entrepreneurs, because successful businesses are rarely, if ever, built alone. And so the tech scaler's role in this is almost as a front door to the ecosystem that will be pivotal in creating that network effect. We will work with partners at home. We'll obviously see tech scalers being delivered with support from enterprise agencies, local authorities, and wider public sector partners alongside businesses, including VCs and angel networks. Everybody in this room and beyond has a role to play in making it a success. And we all have an interest in making it a success because we all, I think, have an opportunity to share in the ultimate success, which will be Scotland's success. And of course, Mark will play a key role in his newly announced position as Scotland's Chief Entrepreneur to build a network of support for startups and scale-ups to ensure that entrepreneurship is fully embedded in our economy, not just in name, not just in a strategy, but in reality. But rather than just looking within our own borders, we also want to leverage the expertise of our world-class universities to reach into the enormous potential of untapped talent. Embedding first-rate entrepreneurial learning across the education and skills system is vital. We want our students to graduate with an entrepreneurial mindset, to encourage them to begin their own startups and to benefit from our groundbreaking tech scaler network. And CodeBase will work closely with those systems to ensure that there is a pipeline of talent. And so, as I close, ultimately the objective is to ensure that we have a country where our national animal is not a myth, in business terms at least, but the symbol of a country that is renowned for its concentration of homegrown tech talent, easy access to finance, and friendly networks of burgeoning startups and well-established businesses with sizable, skilled workforces. And some might ask, why focus on this at a time of significant economic challenge, when households and businesses alike are struggling with the cost of living and rising inflation? Well, my answer is that Scotland, we know, must improve its rate of sustainable economic growth and productivity. And in doing that, the tech sector offers an unrivaled opportunity. It's forecast to grow faster than the economy overall, and startups already account for significant levels of job creation. And so invest in tech, invest in the tech sector, invest in startups and scale-ups, and we invest in sustainable economic growth. We invest in good jobs. We invest in regeneration and transforming communities. This has to be a truly national endeavour, with businesses across Scotland able to both access support and then contribute to Scotland's future economic success. So tonight marks the end of 2 years' worth of work, and it's certainly been some of the most exciting and ambitious work I've been involved in. But it's also just the very beginning, because more than anything else, I look forward to seeing the success stories over the next few months, because we are ambitious, we want to see it in months, and then years and perhaps even decades, And the success that we celebrate in 10 years' time will be down to the decisions that we took now, in the aftermath of COVID, in the face of huge economic challenge, knowing that investing in people, investing in communities, investing in ideas is what has always helped Scotland navigate the economic challenge and is what will help us navigate the economic challenges of 2022. Thanks very much.